Please go ahead, sir. We are live now.
Thank you. Hemang, over to you.
Thank you, Nahid, and the ASSOCHAM team for organizing this webinar. Thank you to our eminent panelists, Meena ji, Dr. Sahu, Mayur from BlackFrog, and all the attendees who have joined us today this pleasant morning. I hope everyone is doing well wherever you are. Yashpal, I request you to enable sharing for me. Now, as we all know, IP rights are, of course, very important economic assets, right? We are a knowledge economy. Startups have been a great contributor in India. This year has been an amazing validation of that, right? Every other day, if you open up the news, you see another startup becoming unicorn. Now, these are the ones who are making the headlines. But what's also important is to notice the number of startups which are scaling up, which are having meaningful traction. What goes hand in hand with that is every startup is formed on the basis of innovation. They want to introduce something new. They have their own take on a problem. And therein lies the drive for intellectual property. Now, there's a lot more that we could do in terms of IP awareness and encouraging IP filing for startups. The government of India has had many initiatives to encourage and support this growth through the scheme for facilitating startups intellectual property. This scheme is called SIPP, and it includes a variety of incentives. I will not talk too much about it, but I'll let my panelists convey the different ways in which they are respectively encouraging and supporting the IP rights filed by startups. I wanted to spend some time to talk to you about L2 Pro. And if you just allow me, I'll share my screen. Now, L2 Pro India is an initiative which came about in discussing the importance of IP rights with the government, specifically DPIIT and CPAM. At Qualcomm, we have started the Qualcomm Design in India Challenge, which is India's longest running startup incubation program. This was launched in 2016. And from the get-go, we have been educating startups what we practice, which is the importance of IPR. And this was done through various roadshows, through various workshops. And from there emerged, certain observations that, which are specific to startups, how they approach IPR. And when we shared these with DPIIT, they encouraged us to work with NLU Delhi to develop a program that informs startups on the importance of IP rights. And that led to the formation of L2 Pro. L2 Pro will increase awareness and aid in better understanding of IP rights filed by startups. And this should come as no surprise to most of you. It is how to protect innovations with patents, how to use copyrights to protect software, how to develop trademarks. These are all important because startups are working on technology, they are working on cutting edge software, they are building brand identities. Most importantly, they should consider how IP can help their business models and play a big part, from a business strategy perspective. And of course, they are doing fair amount of R&D, and it's, in their best interest to bring these innovations quickly to the market. L2 Pro is the information is covered through 3 modules. We have the basic, intermediate, and advanced. The basic level covers the fundamentals of IPR. The intermediate level is for people who gather more interest into it and are more curious about the nuances of going about developing your IP portfolio. And the advanced level talks about the advanced level topics. The entire program is completely free. You can access it on the website. You can download it either as an Android or an iOS app. The course is targeted towards startup founders, startup CTOs. So the presentation is an interactive visual format. There are multiple pop-up quizzes. The material is highlighted, such as over here, you can look at the screenshot, which shows where they can find the list of patent facilitators or the trademark facilitators on the IP India website. There are summary videos, there are recap videos which are of 2 minutes in duration. Again, the idea is to inform these people in the shortest amount of time. At the end of it, there are assessment examinations, and people who complete these will be provided a certificate on the spot, and the certificate is through DPIIT, CPAM, NLU Delhi, and Qualcomm. Now, everything is completely free. And I encourage all the startups who have joined us today to take advantage of this course, and most importantly, to learn from the eminent speakers that we have here today. And so, with that said, I would like to introduce our first speaker for today, Shri Meena ji. Meena ji is the Joint Controller of Patents and Designs at the India Patent Office, Government of India. He is currently working as the Joint Controller of Patents and Designs. We are aware of his work over the years. He has contributed immensely to the field of IP and has represented India at notable events, the most recent one being the 13th BRICS Heads of Intellectual Property Offices meeting in this year, 2021. We appreciate Dr. Meena ji that he made time to join us here today. Without further ado, Meena ji, would like to hear your views.
Thank you very much, Hemang ji, Vijay Kumar Sahu ji, and Mayur Sethi ji, and Nahid Alam ji. I am very happy to join this event. I was a little bit busy, but the special love and affection between SOCM and particularly Mr. Nahid. So he bring me here on this platform. I feel very much privileged to be a part of this event, because being a IP official representing India, it is our responsibility to join this type of program, to aware the people and to spread the awareness among the people, to carry forward the IPR laws and to aware the industry people also what initiatives has been taken by the government of India and what initiatives are being taken by the government of India in future also. So some initiatives, very good initiatives had been taken by the government of India in recent years. I would like to introduce that this procedural, and we can say the patent process re-engineering. We did a lot of work to re-engineering the process of filing of patent application and to aware the people about the schemes which has been introduced by the government of India. So in the patent or by the patent office, now you all are aware that it is completely electronic processing. Now anyone can file an application without coming to the patent office. Anyone can file the patent application electronic form. So this is very, very good initiatives, and we feel proud. Be a government office, we have this facility to file, to give the opportunity to file the electronic filing to the applicant as well as industry people. Now we have video conferencing. Inventors can join video conferencing if the hearing, the case is up to the stage of hearing, and the applicant willing to hear about his invention, then we will provide them the video conferencing VC facility for hearing. So now these days, an applicant, if belongs to Bangalore and Chennai, and the hearing controller is sitting in Delhi Patent Office or Mumbai Patent Office, we can easily assess and we can easily is linked by the VC facility in the hearing process. So no need to travel by the applicant and any individual also. So the another facility we are providing to the applicant as well as the inventors, the online certificate of grant of patent delivery through email. Once your application found in order for grant of a patent by the controller, that time, the same time the patent certificate has been generated by the system automatically. And after generating the patent certificate, it will be delivered via mail to the applicant as well as agent also. So this is very good initiative. Otherwise, before 10, 15 years, it was very, very difficult. People are running here and there to get the certificate, and means a lot of problems. But now we had instant that we found that your application is in order. That same time we will generate the patent certificate also. So this is a very good initiative taken by introduced by the patent office, and the government of India has also give the fees concession for startups and small entities. This is very, very good initiative to promote the filing by the startup and small entities. So 10% rebate for online filing, it is standard for all. If you are filing, you file the patent application via electronic, then 10% rebate will be given to the applicant, and 80% fees concession for individuals and startups and small entities. This is very, very good initiatives introduced by the government of India to promote the filing. And refund of fees for request for examination. Earlier, it was not possible to refund the fees. Once the fees paid by the applicant or agent and an individual also, the fees was not refunded by the patent office. If the applicant willing to withdraw the application, in that particular case, fees was not withdrawn, refund. But now these days, the government has taken very good and important initiative. Now we are refund the fees. If the applicant inform the patent office, we are not willing to proceed further for our application and we want to withdraw our application, then the patent office will refund his fees 100%, no deduction. So this is very good initiative. And login free online data availability. You can see, every person can see the online data available on our website at 24 hours. And real-time status updates. Status updation is automatic. When your application found in order, automatically updated on the website. Your application is refused by the controller, then it will be also automatically updated in the database and reflect in the website same time. So no need to approach the patent office at what stage your application is. Now you can see yourself about the status of your application. The SMS alert of applicants. Now the SMS alert we are sending to the applicant. Yes, your application has been received and filed by you in the patent office, and this is the CBR number. So applicant need not to worry whether his application is received by the patent office or not. So we are informing them via SMS, like banks and other institutions. The examination guidelines of traditional knowledge, biotechnology, pharma, and computer-related inventions. So these are the guidelines has been prepared by the Patent Office, and it is available on our website for the traditional knowledge related patents, pharmaceutical related patents, and computer related inventions. And feedback mechanism available on website. This is a recent development. Now you can give the feedback to the patent office if you have any problem in the system, and if you have any problem to get the information about your application, then you can give the feedback to the patent office for further improvement. So another provision is introduced by the government of India is expedited examination. The expedited examination is available. This facility is available for the startups. India as ISA and IPA. If any person select India as a ISA and IPEA, then his application can be expedited for examination. And the expedited examination facility is also available for small entities and female applicants as well as the government departments. The government is added the government departments also. The invention related to government departments, his application will be proceed by the patent office as a expedited examination. So these are the important initiatives has been already taken by the government of India. And after e-filing, I will share you the 30%. Earlier we have 30% application, and it is now increased up to the 95% in 5 years after introduction of the e-filing. So this is the great achievement and great success of the e-filing process. And also the examination up to 225% in 6 years. Earlier, the examination was done by the patent office is less, but now within 6 years, we have enhanced the examination up to 223% times. So this is the very good achievement by the patent office. And also the disposal 270% in 6 years. This is the hike of disposal of the patent office. So this is you can say after e-filing and the re-engineering of the process and hiring of the manpower play the important role to increase the examination as well as the disposal of the patent application. And as you all are aware that India is having the global innovation index ranking now 46. Earlier it was 81 in 2015. We were in 81 position, and in 2016 we were 66 position, and 2017 we 60 position. After 2018 we were on 57 position, and now in 2021 we are at 46 position. So after taking of this lot of initiatives, re-engineering of the processes, the global ranking index also shows our potential. We are in a right direction. We are doing well. Another I would like to share for the scheme of facilitating the startups intellectual property protection SIPP scheme. The government of India is introduced the SIPP scheme for the startups. So this is very good initiatives taken by the government of India to encourage the filing by the startups. The government give the fee deduction, as well as we will provide them to the facilitators. So they can take the help of facilitators. They can select. We have about 900 facilitators, and it is the list of facilitators is available on our website. Any startup can select the facilitator. The fees will be provided by the government. No need to give fees by the startups. At the time of filing of the application, the patent office provide 10,000 rupees to the facilitators. They can directly claim to the patent office. And at the stage of grant, the another installment of 10,000 rupees will be provided by the government of India. And after taking these initiatives, we can see the applications by startups are increasing day by day. In 2016-17, the total filed applications by the startups was 220 only. And now in 2020-21, the total applications filed by the startups is 1,786. So you can see the huge jump of filing of the patent applications. So this is the initiatives. These are the initiatives taken by the government as well as the patent office to increase the filing and disposal of the patent application, and to provide the good atmosphere to our industry, our applicants, to file more and more patent applications with the patent office. By this, I would like to congratulate the ASSOCHAM to organize such a nice program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meenaji. Those were really very encouraging remarks. I think in the true spirit of digital India, I mean, I've seen firsthand the transformation of the IP India website and how useful it is. Everything that Sir mentioned is really easy to find on the website. It's very easy to select, any, let's say, guidelines that you're looking for. Everything is available. And Sir, kudos also to your team, like specifically for startups, because the audience here is that to see this 8x jump in the patent applications filed by startups from 2016 to 2021 is a remarkable achievement. So if I can ask you one question, which tends to come up from startups, I see that when it comes to expedited examination, a number of the times they are not aware, and a lot of this thing is I think, what should they be filing in their application? What field should they be selecting so that it is considered at the patent office that, hey, this is a startup application and it is eligible for expedited examination. So can you please talk about that?
Yeah, sure. There is a list of documents which has been filed by the applicant at the timing of the filing of the application. So the list of document is available our law, patent law. You can see there, and the important thing is the certificate which has been provided by the DPIIT. Yes, this is the startup. So you have to apply for certificate and take certificate from them and file with the application. This is the important document.
All right. Thank you so much. Startups, please take note of that. All the documents are available on the IP India website. And as Sir was also mentioning, you can easily find the list of patent facilitators or trademark facilitators on the website. Right? So that's quite easy. Do take advantage of these initiatives. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today. It is our honor and pleasure for having you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now let me invite our next speaker on today's panel, Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu. He's the Regional Manager and Head for NRDC IPFC and the UN WIPO TISC Innovation Valley at Vishakhapatnam. Dr. Sahu is a tech transfer, intellectual property, and an innovation management professional, very varied in terms of his experience and qualifications, both in academics as well as towards the industry government side. I know him, I've had the privilege of knowing him. He's very passionate towards IP management, tech transfer, and commercialization. His specialization is in the area of strategic technology and innovation management, bringing innovations to the markets through tech transfer and commercialization, business intelligence, science, technology and innovation, and public policy with expertise in IP, due diligence, tech scouting, portfolio management. Additionally, he somehow finds time to mentor startups, works on technology business incubation services, market surveys, competitive intelligence, and tech IP valuation. Certainly, he does a whole lot of work. We are fortunate that he's able to join us from Denmark today. He's there on an official visit. So thank you, Dr. Sahu, for taking time, for this webinar. And we'd like to hear your thoughts, please. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Hemang, for your nice word, and that make us confident and build capacity to mitigate the challenge. Thank you, SHM, for giving me this opportunity. And also, I am grateful that my previous speaker has very well emphasized about the regulatory process of Indian IP office in executing intellectual property in the country. It is the time for all of us to reform, perform, and transform. And when we see the global ecosystem of innovation and startup, it is the time for all of us to mitigate such kind of challenge in India so that our community, our society will get benefit through new invention, innovation that create value to the society. During this pandemic, we have very well understand that digital became physical and physical became digital. So it is a time for all of us to define the moment, particularly when we are talking about promotion of IP towards startup, MSME, and industry, and also academia. And Indian ecosystem, particularly we believe in Vasudevam Kutumbakam. But when we are part of the WTO ecosystem, there is a monopoly. And the global ecosystem of innovation, the protectionism is there. It is the high time for all the entities, MSMEs, startup, individual, has to protect their intellectual property. And that is the need of the hour, and we have seen in the case of Haldi, Neem, and Basmati. So coming to the point, as far as the startup and MSME is concerned, we must have to define what MSME or the startups have the intellectual property asset, what to protect and what not to protect. And that is very, very important because we must have to identify the intellectual property for the protection. And also there is the option of trade secret. So that will give rationalization for creating, protecting, and utilizing intellectual property and create value realization and gives a freedom to operate. And one of the biggest challenge for Indian startup today is mitigating the challenge on infringement. There are some of the startups, they are doing excellent, but they could not protect their intellectual property. They have got an infringement suit. So it is the high time for startup first to protect before venturing to the business. Whatever the IP, not only patent, you have copyright, you have trademark, you have design. You might be using some GI product. We must have to promote, we must have to protect, we have to create the value, and brand promotion is important. Jo dikhta hai, wo dikhta hai. We must have to be part of this market-driven innovation economy. And also, we must have to maintain the inventory of our organizational intellectual property asset. The way we maintain our children's education, we must have to maintain our IP asset in paying the annuity in right time so that we not miss the chance. We must have to monitor regularly because it is a market-driven economy. There is a demand and supply in the market. Many competitors will come. We must have to do a monitoring tech marks survey so that we can understand who are our competitors so that we can mitigate accordingly. And we need to realize the value of intellectual property. We may do in-licensing, we may do out-licensing, we may do cross-licensing. That all opportunity is also there. And we can keep our intellectual property as a owner. And we have to create the awareness among our team. Because the institution plays a very important role. In institution, there are human resource people, there are finance people, there are technical people, and also there are the people for marketing. So we have to create the brand. So marketing people should understand about our trademark value. We have the finance people must know about the intellectual property asset as a intangible asset, and we have an excellent norm and policy in Government of India, and also in our annual report you can properly emphasize our intellectual property asset. And also the technical people must understand the value of all IPR, because they are the creator, they are the inventor. They should understand their philosophy and their role. And at the same time, the human resource plays a very important role, because human resource is nothing but the ornament that beautify the ecosystem of market. And that's human resource plays a very important role today. And I'm happy that Dr. Hemang has, with Qualcomm, is making the difference. And that's the beauty to contribute to Mother India in the changing paradigm of innovation ecosystem. And the most important point we must have to understand that confidentiality agreement. Being a startup, we must look into that agreement. We must have to enhance the procedure policy as per the regulatory affairs of the nation, so that we can mitigate any challenge during the time when we need such kind of opportunity or the challenges. And also we need to understand how to manage infringement, potential infringement, actual infringement, so that that kind of challenge should not come. Friends, monitoring is one of the most important aspects, how to monetize IP. Because सबसे बड़ा रुपया, startup MSME are not running charitable trust. They are doing their best to create something to the visibility to the nation and also the livelihood and to the society at large. Today we are talking about self-reliance on technology, Innovate India, Make in India, Startup and Stand-up India. India needs technology. Our dependency on import of technology is very, very high. That's Government of India has come out with the policy of reform, transform, and perform. It is the time for all of us to perform. Already reform started in education. We have a National Education Policy 2020. We have a startup policy. We have an institutional ecosystem, enabling ecosystem. We have a national IPR policy. They have created a benchmark. It is a time for academia. We have 900 universities in the country, but unfortunate part in the country today is that IP-centric mindset has not gone to our academia. That is the today bottleneck. All the institutions have to understand the role of IP in the changing paradigm of ecosystem of innovation. Knowledge must be acknowledged, and the knowledge management through IP management can be possible. It is a high time to collaborate. Nobody sitting in his own room or own house has not done anything without collaboration. So collaboration, cooperation, coordination is the essential entities to mitigate the challenge of the nation, to mitigate the challenge on climate change, food security, nutritional security, many more. And every citizen must have to understand role of IP, because the way today kids are understanding by using YouTube at home, talking about many things, that's momentum we need to create, and also that strategy we must have to create, and we must have to help. And since it is my responsibility, I came from a national organization. My mandate is to provide IP support to all the startup. We help all the startup to free IPR services, no financial liability to startup, those who are recognized as a DPIIT registered startup. We pay the cost for filing the patent, trademark, design, copyright. And some of my friends from the audience already asked me the question. So once I come back to India, and otherwise you can speak to me WhatsApp also. And we are there, our team are there. And also we have been supporting many startups in the country in protecting their IP, and we are mitigating many challenges, managing their IP. So friends, thank you all of you for giving me opportunity, because I have to join another meeting physically at Danish government. So thank you, Dr. Hemang. Thank you, the team ASSOCHAM, Nahid ji, and all to giving me opportunity. God bless you all. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu. That was amazing, very passionate speech, straight from the heart, I would say. And of course, you underline, I would broadly classify as have an IP management structure. It's not just looking at only one thing and being happy with it. You have to tie each and every aspect, from agreements to how you're filing. There's one quick question which has come up, and if you can answer it. So this question came from Arpit Srivastava, where the question is that most of the startups approach external firms, let's say, to file trademarks. But what if they want to do it on their own with their in-house team? Does it make sense to file trademarks or in general IPRs with their in-house team?
Let me inform to Arpit. Arpit, when you are talking about trademark, the visibility, the brand of our product or the services, what we are showing to the market, to the society and people. When we are going for trademark, we must know whether the logo, the design, what we have designed for that logo is new or not. Some of the startup, they come out with a beautiful logo, but when we do a trademark search, already similar search is there, and when we register, I mean, categorical the startup push, अगर आप ये नहीं करोगे तो मैं खुद ट्रेडमार्क करूंगा. जब हम ट्रेडमार्क भी फाइल कर देते हैं, गलती से भी कर देते हैं, तो ट्रेडमार्क ऑब्जेक्शन में आ जाता है. तो आप कोई भी ट्रेडमार्क आप कर रहे हो, पहले ट्रेडमार्क सर्च करो कि सिमिलर थोड़ा सा भी कहीं है तो पक्का आपका एग्जामिनर आपको ऑब्जेक्शन में लाएंगे. और ये मैं आपको एक केस नहीं है, करीब 8-10 केस में हमने देखा है. ये जरूरी है आपको, क्योंकि ट्रेडमार्क का क्लास भी हमको समझना चाहिए, कौन सी क्लास में हम कर रहे हैं, और उसका ड्यू डिलिजेंस तो पूरा जरूरी है. ये छोटा काम हो सकता है, लेकिन ये आपको बहुत महंगा पका सकता है. क्योंकि मैं एक कंपनी को अभी, मैं दिल्ली से यहाँ हमारा फ्रैंकफर्ट आने से पहले मैं मिला था, बिकॉज आई केम थ्रू फ्रैंकफर्ट टू हियर डेनमार्क. तो उनका ये था कि वो 15 साल से वो ट्रेडमार्क यूज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उनका ट्रेडमार्क रजिस्टर नहीं है, लेकिन सिमिलर ट्रेडमार्क और एक कंपनी का है, जो कंपनी ने उसको इन्फ्रिंजमेंट सूट फाइल किया है. आप सोचो उस आदमी का अभी क्या हालत होगा. आपने इतना पूरा मंदिर बना लिया, लेकिन आपको पता चले कि वो मंदिर आपका जमीन नहीं है, वो सरकारी जमीन है, तो आपको क्या हालत होगा. तो यही रेगुलेटरी इश्यूज है, लीगल इशू है, दैट नॉट ओनली क्रिएट इम्पैक्ट टू आवर स्टार्टअप और इंडिविजुअल, दैट इज क्रिएटिंग टू द नेशन, एंड वी आर एट स्पेशल 301 प्रोविजन on priority watch list. So it is a high time for all of us to understand, to respect IP, leverage IP, and also protect IP. That IP will give value and confident collaboration and investment and trust to the market economy.
Thank you so much, Sahuji. Really perfect advice that you could give, and it's applicable not just for trademarks, but in general for any IPRs. Work with people who know their domain, and they will know all the nuances which are required. So thank you so much, Dr. Sahuji, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time and energy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me invite our next speaker, Mayur Shetty, the founder and CEO of Black Frog Technologies Private Limited. Black Frog is a Manipal, Karnataka-based tech startup company which is improving immunization supply chains. Under Mayur's leadership, the company has developed patented technologies for the safe last-mile delivery of temperature-sensitive vaccines. You will know from him why this is such an important problem to solve. They have won over 6 national awards and international recognitions. The product is being deployed across the nation for routine vaccines, and it's now being adapted for the delivery of COVID-19 vaccines as well. Mayur is an engineer by training and has completed his fellowship at Cambridge University's Judge Business School with support from BIRAC Government of India. He heads Black Frog's efforts in developing an end-to-end traceability solution for vaccine delivery and for building a digital platform to improve the process efficiency in immunization. Mayur, it's a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us. Most of the attendees here are from startups and they're looking forward to hear from you. So over to you, Mayur.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hemang. Thank you, Asacham. It's an absolute honor to be a part of this conversation. My greetings to the all panelists, Dr. Hemang, Dr. Meena, Dr. Vijay as well. It was very nice listening to all of you. I think I'm probably the least experienced in terms of IP in the panel, but I would like to briefly talk about our journey in through Black Frog, where we've gotten about 3 patents, 6 design registrations, and we're pursuing a US design application as well. I will very briefly talk about our company, our work, and then jump into the into our IP journey. So it's been a very long and arduous journey for us navigating through the IP ecosystem, and we are here because of the stakeholders and our supporters who made us who we are. I truly believe that while it takes a village to raise a child, I think it takes a nation to build a startup company, and we are definitely an embodiment to this. I think I should not use the word embodiment when there are so many IP experts here. So I will talk about what we do at Black Frog. We are a healthcare technology company based out of.
Mayur, just sorry, one tiny interruption. Could you turn off your video and turn it on again? It's coming blurry over here. Maybe that will fix it, but
Yeah, 1 second. Hi, Hemant. Is it better now?
yeah, I think it will correct on its own. So let's please continue.
Okay, sure. Sorry. We are a healthcare technology startup company based out of Manipal in coastal Karnataka. We've been working on supporting and solving some of the problems associated with the last mile delivery of vaccines. Back in 2017, we were provided with a grant in aid by BIRAC under DBT to develop a portable medical grade refrigeration system to replace the conventional mode of vaccine delivery, which is using an ice box or a passive carrier. The problem here was very clear. WHO estimates that close to 25% of all vaccines go to waste before they're administered. And this is not even from a COVID vaccine standpoint. This is from routine vaccines where over 60 to 70% of that thermal degradation happens in the last mile. And the problem statement was very clear to us, and it became very even more relevant with COVID-19 vaccines because vaccine wastage varied from 6 to 11% in Telangana and Karnataka to over 33 to 36% in Jharkhand and Bihar as well. So this was very clear. I mean, right immediately after the second wave, when there was a acute vaccine shortage and people are looking for the vaccines, and we're at a point where we're wasting so much vaccine, and a very subtle problem there was the risk of administering inefficacious vaccines. So the fact of breakthrough infections is real. The fact that you get both the shots of your vaccines and still contract COVID-19 is also real. So a lot of reasons for that. The vaccines in itself are close to 90% in efficacy, so there is that. But one of the significant reasons for breakthrough infection is also poor cold chain management. The fact that vaccines are losing the potency before they are administered. So in essence, it's probably the worst scenario because you're getting both the shots, you're getting complacent, you're having a false sense of protection that I'm covered now, I can go out, I don't need to wear a mask. So that's actually worse than not getting the vaccine itself. And that's actually the problem that we are solving at Black Frog. We've developed Emvolio, which is a portable and rugged battery-powered system that can maintain a preset temperature for 12 plus hours in the field. This can be worn as a backpack or as a sling. It holds vaccines for 12 plus hours at the optimal temperature of 4 degrees Celsius. We're actually live in 4 states of India right now, delivering both COVID-19 and routine vaccines to some of the most rural and remote places. I would want to talk about, so for this particular product, we have 3 patents in India. We're pursuing a PCT application as well. And I want to talk about the role of 4 stakeholders, which is academia, incubators, the legal support or the IP attorneys and private sector. So the 4 stakeholders who have contributed and helped us in developing these IP as well. So the first part is academia. We are part of the Manipal Academy ecosystem. So our first awareness or first look at what IP and patents even meant probably started at workshops that academic organizations carry out. Like Dr. Bijay mentioned, there is a serious need for academic institutes to promote the value of IP. I mean, to be honest, when we started off as a startup company, we started off for the first 2 years, we were a design and consultancy company. So we were engineers right out of college. So we were obsessed with making and troubleshooting. And that means you go on a complete jugaad outlook to making things where sustainability is not a focus, IP is not a focus. You don't care about IP or and that perspective needs to be brought up right from academia, and I think that's very crucial. So I think my first view of what design patents meant, what patents mean, and what that means in India itself, that came through these workshops that colleges and institutes conducted. That was very critical. The second most important thing that happened to us was incubators, because we are in public health. Investment is very difficult. Investors are usually shy about investing in a product that is sold directly to the government, with the obvious risks and the challenges that come with that. So government of India has been super benevolent. They've been super nice to us, considering that this is a real problem. Immunization is a real focus, not just for COVID-19. For the last 25-30 years, we've been doing a fantastic job with India's universal immunization program, with the Pulse Polio campaign back in the 90s. So this has always been a focus area, and they've gone out of their way. BIRAC, DBT, and Niti Aayog has gone out of their way to support us in our journey. But also, what they ask in return is that government agencies, if they're looking at a grant in aid, they want strong IP to back it, because that's also an investment from their end. They're not looking at an return on investment on the money they're putting in, but they want a company to grow, to make a sustainable product, and possibly look at export options as well. So Venture Center is a incubator based out of Pune. They're under the National Chemical Laboratories flag. So these guys were very critical for us in getting that first proof of concept grant, and that's when we realized the need for patentability. So they first did a patentability assessment on our it wasn't a product at that point, it was mostly a proposal. We said that we would solve this problem in this particular way. My co-founder and I, we were only 2 men at that point. So we drew up a couple of figures. We said that this is how we can solve this energy efficiency problem. While we are in healthcare, it's a completely technology product, because refrigeration is a physics problem. Ice boxes have been around for over 100 years right now. They seem to solve the problem, but the fact that there is no battery powered refrigeration system is because refrigeration in itself is a very inefficient process. To bring the temperature of a chamber down to 4 degrees and make it last for 12 plus hours is an energy efficiency issue, physics issue, refrigeration issue. So all of those things come in, and that's where our design came in. And these guys trusted us because they thought that there was patentability value in this particular proposal. And that's where our journey first started, through the incubator, and we applied for the grant in aid. After we got the grant in aid, we started working on the proof of concept. So the next 18 months went into that. That's where the next stakeholder, which is IP attorneys, come into the picture. We've had the privilege of working with Khurana and Khurana as our IP attorneys, and they've been super nice to us in that. That's another thing, right? When a large IP company works with a small startup company, it's tricky for them as well. The kind of revenue that we are going to bring them, the kind of value, long-term value. Let's say Toyota or Ford, which is going to make 70 to 100 patents a year, representing a company like that makes so much more sense than working with a startup company for them. So for them to be nice about it, look at the value, is something I think, a lot of us claim that we have to help startup companies are the future for the nation, but how many actually go out of their way to do this? In that, I'm very grateful and thankful to Khurana and Khurana for their utmost support. So that's another thing. I mean, prior to this, I had written a patent application on my own. As an engineer, we had designed a self-protection wallet for women right out of college. So this was a mechanical instrument that we had made. And when the examination came into play, that's when I realized how much of a problem this is, in that it's not a technical document, it's a techno-legal document. So the legal aspect is just as important. And I think going about on your own is probably not a good idea, even for a startup company. So I just want to stress on I want to get into the next stakeholder, which is the government agency, and come back to the filing aspect itself. As a startup company, I mean, if so, there is individual applicant and company as an applicant when you file a patent, and the difference is probably about individual applicant at that point was about 1,500 or 2,500 for the filing fee, and company was 10,000 rupees. So this is a huge difference, because for a startup company, essentially you are two applicants itself, right? There is no external funding. For a bootstrap company, it's the same as an individual applicant, because it's the same source of funds that you have at your disposal. So that creating that discrimination is very important, and that applies to both the IP attorneys and the government of India as well. They've been nice enough to see that we cannot treat corporations and startup companies at the same level. You have to discriminate, and that's the only way there will be, equitable growth, right? And I'm very grateful that this has been thought out, and I mean, this is mostly because of FICCI and ASSOCHAM and a lot of organizations like this informing the government of India that this needs to be done. This discrimination is not going to come easy, right? So I'm really glad that a lot of thought has gone into it. So other than the patent, filing benefit, which is about 80% rebate on the patent application fee itself that startup companies get. So I think the DIPP coverage has already been done. So 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. So the second aspect is even the facilitator gets a reimbursement. So that's actually nice. Even the IP attorneys, they have a reimbursement for every filing they do with the startup company. The state government reimbursement as well. I have not actually personally worked on this, but even Karnataka government, for that matter, has reimbursement on every patent that you file on behalf of a startup company. This fast track schemes, expedited application is something Dr. Hemang was earlier talking about. That's been fantastic, because usually when you talk about IP, I mean, when we started in 2017, almost every senior IP person that we talked to had this problem of, okay, I'll get my patent in another 4 or 5 years. So by the time you get a patent granted, if it takes 4 or 5 years, that's probably the time that a startup company takes for either acquisition or death. So that just does not work. And we were lucky enough to go through the expedited application process, where I think in about 4 to 5 months, we got our examination done and we got the result of it. We got the FER done and we got the patent granted as well. So this has been a wonderful process for us. The last stakeholder that I want to talk about is the private sector. And this is my favorite part because for us, I think the single most, this is not just from an IP standpoint. I think even for the journey of BlackFrog and my personal career as well, I think Qualcomm Technologies has been the most significant partner for us. Keeping aside the fact that they've helped us with funding right from the beginning through the Qualcomm design and Qualcomm QDIC event, which is Qualcomm Design in India Challenge, and through presently we are working with them on Qualcomm's wireless reach program for another project. So funding is one aspect. I want to talk about Qualcomm's motive here, which is that it's a, I think Qualcomm was started probably around 1985, and Qualcomm is known for the intellectual property they develop, and their entire model is based on that. And now they're at a point where we are going to give back to the system that made us. And out of the goodness of their heart, they're funding us, they're incentivizing us to create more IP. And I think that's something that is really, really important in India, because the kind of funding support, so a lot of benefits and fast tracking process, a lot of things government agencies can do, but then a lot of funding support and that incentivizing things, I think only private sector can do that. And I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of this ecosystem that Qualcomm Technologies has created. And it was very nice to work with the QDIC program in that. So the entire idea is the D in QDIC is design. So they are looking for companies in India like us who are working on designing new systems where there could be potentially new IP in there. So it's a year-long handholding program where we work with experts at Qualcomm. So another thing I want to stress on is that we are working on a portable vaccine carrier. So like I mentioned, it's physics, thermodynamics, engineering, and then there is embedded systems, IoT, and software development as well. So for a startup company to be good at all verticals is impossible. My co-founder and I, we are both from a mechanical and thermodynamics background. So we were very good with that. So developing this embedded system has been very tricky for us. So this is the kind of program where we could count on them to actually refine our design and to ensure that this product actually came to the market. So keeping aside the funding aspect and the support, it's mentorship in technology development that is actually critical. And I think it's getting better in India. It's very nice that these guys have been benevolent. They've just done, I mean, Qualcomm essentially has done this just out of the goodness of their heart. And I have to admit that we had 2 patents prior to that, and during the QDIC thing, we saw the kind of incentives that Qualcomm was putting forward for creating new IP. And I have to say that the third main patent that we've got right now was strictly out of the fact that Qualcomm had this program in place. And I'm very pleased to announce that this is our significant revenue model right now moving ahead. This is where our company is taking it. We're essentially regrouping and going in a different direction because of the 1.5 years that we've spent with Qualcomm. So these are the 5 stakeholders that I think have really shaped our IP journey and ensured that we've created a product. I'm actually proud to announce that we've now started export of our product as well. Previously, we were focusing on COVID-19 application only over the past year. Now we are looking at diagnostics for blood culture, serum, sputum, all other hospital application as well. So we are exporting to the GCC nations right now. So yeah, this has been our IP journey. Just last aspect, I've talked about all of the good things. One not so nice thing that I've seen as part of the IP journey, which is part of pursuing a PCT application. So this has been very tricky in that it's a ridiculously expensive process. And I think I'm not sure if the government of India can do anything about this, because it's not even in their hand. It's something that all of the other agencies come together as well. But I think it's a little. I might not be an expert on this, but it's a little tricky for me to understand that you have a patent, and when you do a patent search in India, it's not just India, right? They do a search all over, and you get a patent granted. And then now you have to go to individual countries, every country, and file a patent at their office. So let's say I'm selling about 20-30 units in Kenya and only about 100-150 in the GCC nation. I have to individually go to their patent offices, and there is a process there with examination. And I think that becomes very it's not something that a small startup company can sustain. So I think there is some potential to fix that process. So I'm hoping that gets rectified over time as well. And like I mentioned, it's a very expensive process. I mean, when we looked at we did a market analysis for our product, and we saw that maybe about 14 to 15 nations is what we should be filing for. And I think the quotation we got for was about 27 lakhs for these 14 to 15 countries. And there is no way that I can justify to my board that I will make 27 lakhs worth of revenue from these countries. So that ROI in itself is kind of flawed, and that's something that is a little tricky for us. So yeah, this has been our journey with IP. I would love to take any questions, if any. Thank you, Dr. Hemant. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for the time and the privilege. I mean, thank you for having me over.
Thank you so much, Mayur. I mean, this was really informative. I mean, you covered your end-to-end journey, covering all the stakeholders. We are proud to, having seen you, when we saw the first version of Mvolio to where it is today. So kudos to you, to your team for, taking it forward. So, and wish you many, many, such milestones, much more success in the years ahead, because you're truly making an impactful product, right? It's not just affecting one particular disease, it's wide across. So there's something which I wanted to touch upon, and this is to your last question with regards to how PCT works, right? So to the general audience, PCT is one way through which your single patent application. So let's say, as Mayur was saying, he is interested in filing his patent in 15 countries. First option is, at the same time that you file in India, you could file at different countries in the same world at the same time. But what that means is that for each and every country, they may have their own requirements. And this is truly when you start appreciating the benefits of the India IP ecosystem, specifically the IP India office. Our patent filing fees are very reasonable. It's a significant cost advantage compared to some of the other countries where the cost will run into thousands of dollars. So your first option is you file in all of these countries. You may have to translate your application in the language. Maybe your country requires that. The other option is you take the PCT route, which I think is a smarter route for you to take, because what PCT does is you file an application today in India, let's say. You have 1 year of time in which you say, I have an intent of filing in all these other countries. You don't have to file anything at that point. You have another 1.5 years from that point of time. Hopefully, you validated your market, you validated your product, and you've determined whether it makes financial sense to file your application in all those countries. And for all of those countries, your reference is your application, which was filed 2.5 years ago. So you're spreading your cost, you're taking a more calculated decision. Now, of course, as Mayur was mentioning, there is an aspect of cost which is associated with all those countries, right? They may have different filing fees. You might require different counsels, because your counsel, which let's say works in India, may not have the familiarity with the IP laws in all those other countries. So there is something which is a factor that people are not aware about, and I've pasted this link in the chat box. For example, MeitY has an IPR initiative program where they can fund up to rupees 15 lakhs or up to 50%, whichever is lesser of the two, for the international IP filing expenses. So Mayur, I encourage you to check that out. I believe your product should meet those criteria, because you have an element under the large MeitY charter. I believe your product should meet those qualifications, but do check those out. Similarly, every state in India has its own IP incentive. They work on a reimbursement mechanism. The beauty or the best part is that most of these places are okay if you go for such funding from one source to another. So you can go to, let's say, a national agency for reimbursement. You can also go to state agency for the reimbursement of the other part. It takes some effort on your part to figure out all these things, but those incentives are there. So Mayur, I encourage you to check that out.
Yeah.
The other there are a couple of questions which have come up, which is, how did you go about selecting the IP firm?
I think, so like I was mentioning, incubators usually have their own IP facilitation cells, but that's good for early stage patentability assessment. I think after that, you if you're looking at if you're looking at commercializing a product, you probably need professional support. So there are a few good firms. I think Khurana & Khurana was referred to us by somebody, and the thing about K&K is that we depend on them a lot for other legal work as well, drafting NDA, and they're very startup friendly, and that's actually the reason that we went with them.
Great. Thanks so much. And There was a question, I'll take that at the end on QDIC program. I'll talk about it afterwards, but there was one other question, and this is where, as a startup, right, can you talk about how you go about, let's say, founders? So how do you file the IP? Is it in the company name? Is it in the founder's name? And this is one thing which startups do not have a strategy around it. So
Yeah. So sorry, Dr. Hema, is that for me?
yeah, that's for you, Mayur. Do you file
okay.
let's say if you're filing patents or trademarks, are they registered in the company name or are they registered in the founder's name?
Yeah, so absolutely everything has to be filed in the company's name. All of the IP belongs to the company if you're raising funds for the company, because no investment agency, government agency will not be okay with an individual owning the patent. We are the inventors will be you and your colleagues you work with, but the applicant has to be the company. Funnily enough, in our case, actually, we started working on the development prior to the company. So my co-founder and I had filed the patent in our names. So the first, when we signed our grant in aid agreement, Government of India state, they put it up in the agreement that as part of the first milestone, you have to transfer the patent to the company. That's actually a tricky process, something you should go again to a legal firm with, because transferring a patent also should be done in a clean approach, and you can't actually directly transfer a patent. You have to sell your patent, and in our case, we sold our patent to the company for 1 can of beer. So we put it up on the agreement, and that was our journey in 2017.
That's well, cheers to that. Thanks much, Mayur, for sharing this. Really appreciate your insights and all the information you shared with us today. Truly very, very informative.
Thank you.
And again, best wishes to Black Frog. Wish you many, much more success, much more milestones, in your journey going ahead.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. So I'd like to take some time. There was a question around QDIC. I've pasted a link to that for all the attendees in the chat box. QDIC is the Qualcomm Design in India program. We had launched this in 2016. It's a hardware incubation program where we incubate anywhere up to 15 startups at a given point of time. It's a 9-month incubation cycle. What happens is that we select startups that are solving a problem which requires edge compute and which requires an element of connectivity. The verticals can be, we've incubated startups that are working on medical technologies, that are working on IoT, sort of drones, medical imaging, automotive. It's a really wide canvas. I've pasted the link in the chat box. Please take a look at it. The program is currently underway. We should be open for applications by the end of March of 2022. So that's when we are open for applications. And it's a shortlisting process. It works as a challenge format. Couple of important points. It's a completely equity-free program, meaning whatever incentives which are there, no equity is taken by us. The cash prizes, everything, they work like a grant, right? So all the incentives are over there. I'm going through the chat box again. I think the Mala had asked a question about international IP protection. So this is an important nuance, that the market for your product may not just be India. For example, as Mayur was saying, they might, their product is a vaccine carrier. Wherever you got to have vaccines, which is the whole world, their product will have a market. Now, patents or IP rights are territorial in nature. So if you have patents which are granted in India, those rights are only valid in India. So if you want to have your IP protection in all those other countries, you've got to file for IP in those respective countries. And there are various ways to go about it. Like for patents, I spoke about 2 approaches, which is you file simultaneously in all those countries, or you take a smarter approach, which is called PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty. So you go through that, and similarly for other IP rights, you would have to seek similar coverage. But be very mindful of which countries are going to be important for your business and seek IP protection there. Thankfully, India is a part of the PCT convention, so you can spread your cost over time. So I think I'm going through the chat box again. I think we've covered everything. I thank all the attendees. They've been very active. I've been having good chat conversations with everyone. I thank all the panelists today, Shri Meena ji, for giving us such a fabulous overview of all the incentives and all the initiatives at the IP India offices. Thank you, Dr. Sahu, for explaining to us the importance of an IP strategy and innovation management charter. Of course, thanks much to Mayur for giving us the journey of how his startup has solved various problems for an impactful program. Thanks much to ASSOCHAM for organizing this. I have my colleague Anirban who's here with us. He's a core part of L2 Pro. Very passionate when it comes to educating folks on IPR. So thanks much everyone. Thank you all for joining us today, and wish you all a pleasant day.
Thank you.
Nahid, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we are closed. Thank you.